do. I want to start out uh, uh, talking about Greg Brooks. I'm not positive what is going on with him. They talked about a medical emergency. Greg was a wonderful kid when he was here and did a great job for us. And whatever it may be, I want him and his family and LSU to know that we're concerned. We're praying for him, and we hope that he has whatever it may be a speedy recovery. Um, I wish I knew more about it, but I don't. But I do know a medical emergency means there's something wrong, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and the LSU football team and community. Yeah, um, it's hard to win any game when you have 14 penalties. Obviously, I don't know if I'm gonna get fined. I obviously didn't agree with all the calls and all that kind of stuff. Several of them, but um, uh, hence the problem. You can't have. We had too many missed assignments and we had too many penalties to beat a good football team, and we got to figure out how to get the penalty situation. You're going to have some missed assignments in the game. I thought we had more than what we should have, but it's the penalties that are killing drives and keeping drives alive and things of that nature that we have to get corrected. We played to answer your question. We played extremely hard. The crowd was unbelievable, but in a nutshell, if we just took half the penalties away, I think we would have won the game. And I hope so. You know, um, I hope so. He just hasn't practiced well because he physically can't. Um, but I hope so. Going back to Louisiana as well, and we need him. Because obviously when um, we had practiced Brady out there a couple times, and he was the next best option we had. It just unfortunate when he had to move out there and all this, and but he did as good a job as he could do, and he was the right guy to move out there. It's just we need Dev back. Yeah, it did, and in that period of 2 minutes, it was Kudus had went out first, and then Chandler had went out with a cramp, and then Kudus came back, but um, we talk about that stuff on Saturday morning. Okay, what happens? And I'm sure the coaches get irritated with me going, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens? Okay, well, he's out. He's out. What happens? Because I want them to be able to click and say, this is what we're going to do in not a stressful situation. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And then you just do it. But yeah, I mean, uh, the other thing is that for some reason we've had some hand issues. We've got three of them on the offensive line, and you need your grip there. So we're going to go spiders today. I'm going to try to heal up some of that a little bit if we can. That was the plan, whether we would have won or lost. I think you go through 25 days of physical preseason, and then we've been really physical. Last week was our most physical practice. Um, and so I'm gonna try to heal up just a little bit. You can still get a lot of work at spiders, but that's what we're gonna do.
You have to unlock its status.
No, I mean really no is the answer. Um, I don't know if he's gonna be able to play or not. And I tell you, it's probably, in all honesty, it's probably too early to really tell on that injury. We're gonna have him out there a little bit today, kind of see where he's at. Um, But to be honest with you, the answer is probably no at this point. Not know that he's not going to play. No, we just don't know.
It's all I'm getting AJ Green some more carries. I mean, he had 9 carries Saturday night. First series, 3 carries, 63 yards, and 6 carries the rest of the game. Any thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we went into the game thinking that we were going to use all three of them. I think, obviously, if you feel like you have a hot hand, you probably ought to try to use them a little bit more. Right now, it seems like everything that we're doing offensively seems hard. It doesn't seem like there's anything that's coming easy to us. Besides, we did have some good completions, and we did have some long run. We've had more Saturday than we had in previous games. But yeah, I mean, I think we probably went in thinking he'd probably get double digits, maybe 12, 13 reps, and him coming out 9 might have been a little light for him.
I know people are upset about the offensive line, but with all the injuries, I mean, there's just so much you can do with that. I mean, people want new starters or people moving around, but do you have very many options? I mean, you're pretty much a lot of people injured there.
Well, the offensive line just has to play more consistent because there are times. I mean, on AJ's run, nobody touched him. You know what I mean? We just have to be more consistent. We probably need to move the pocket a little bit more. We can't just stand back there and let people blitz us on or bull us. Obviously, we started chipping and things of that nature. But when you do that, you have to because of the bull we were getting. They were pretty good, I thought, defensive end wise. But I don't know that there's a lot more than what we're doing. Believe me, we're trying everything that we can to try to, get the best guys out there that are going to play the best. And we've been banged up and those things. A lot of people get banged up. We just, we had to play better. We had to play more consistent.
Question on Luke, man. He just seems to be getting better every week. I mean, is the sky the limit for that kid?
It is. I mean, he's a physical guy, to almost to faults. The other day I thought he could have outran the guy chasing him on the inside, and he kind of waited on him so he could bang him, so he could hit him, and he ended up getting the first down. But yeah, and I think those type of games that he had, they'll just get better. I think his blocking will get better, and we talked about how many plays can he play, and basically we're going to play him however many he can because he's valuable to us and he catches everything. He's done a really, really good. That's a freshman out there. That's a really good job.
I was wondering about KJ's health. There was a couple of runs where maybe the old KJ would have cut up and hit somebody. Is he okay?
Yes, he's fine. Yeah, he was a little banged up going into the game, but we wondered the same thing, but we knew the answer of why. But it's not because, a lot of times you tell them guys, run out of bounds or something like that. We have not told him that because I didn't think he would do it, if we did, but. Yeah, I'm sure that had a little bit to do with how he was feeling.
You've been part of 2 Arkansas teams that have gone to Baton Rouge and won. What maybe lessons, things that you found out from those games that might help?
Yeah, there's some things that you have to control, and one of them is the noise. We have to get ready for the noise, and we have to play clean. We have to cut our penalties and our MAs back. But the noise is the biggest thing going out there. And then you have to celebrate the community, the people. You have to embrace them, which we did last time we were out there. Us and LSU, we played them 3 times, and there's 3 points between the last 3 games. We lost by 3, won by 3, lost by 3. And we'll be ready to play. I know they will be too, but losing wasn't a wake-up call for us. That's not – we would have learned if we would have won from too many penalties and all that kind of stuff. But it is LSU and it's SEC play. I'm sure they'll be ready, but we'll have a good game plan. But it is a special place to go, especially at night, and it's a hard place to win at night, especially.
Leaving the celebration penalty aside, I want to ask you about two calls. There was an offensive pass interference on Luke Haas that just seemed like incidental contact, whatever.
Sure,
and you'd have had a 4th and 1, or maybe it would have been a first. That play, and then
we wouldn't have had 3rd and 20 something.
And then it looked to me like on a KJ run right before halftime, somebody came in and speared him. And I don't know. What did you see on those two plays?
You said it. I'm gonna get fined, guys. So I appreciate the question. I don't have any idea. I don't have a chance it. But yeah, I mean,
you've had, last year, I think there were a couple mid-season losing streaks, but you guys didn't necessarily let them spiral into anything. Now you've lost your first game. What lessons have you taken in your time here, maybe that can help kind of make this loss not turn into a spiral given the tough schedule?
I think it's a lot about how you approach today. I think that has a lot to do with it. The old saying, some teams can beat you 2 or 3 times if you let them. We just can't do that. At some point today, we've got to let it go. And I do know this: the busier you are preparing for the next game, the easier it is on you. In other words, to kind of block out all the noise that's going on, because there's going to be noise. I'm sitting in the seat. There's going to be noise around me forever, as long as I'm fortunate enough to sit in the seat. And it's part of it. But I think the kids are the same way, because there's a lot of noise around. We got beat by BYU and all that kind of stuff. We got to cut that out of your life. And then you have to prepare. To me, it goes back into the preparation of it. I'm going to tell them what we have to do to beat LSU today. And then that's what we got to go do at practice. And as anything in life, as it fades a little bit, it's not so hit you in the face, it fades a little bit, then it kind of gets easier to turn the page and go to the next opponent. But if you waste a day, so we haven't. In other words, last year, I think when we got beat by Liberty, I think the next game was LSU, and we actually played really good. And KJ wasn't able to play that game. Dalton Wagner wouldn't be able to play that game, but we played a good game. You may say you didn't play well offensively, but we were dealt a hand, and we got beat 13-10. We played a physical, good game. So I think that we'll do the same thing. And then I think after that we played Ole Miss and we were able to get bowl eligible and all that stuff. So we got to put it one week at a time, and we can't mull around, because I think this is as good a football team as we'll play all year. They are very, very, very talented. But we have to have a good. That's why you have game plans and things of that nature. We've got a good football team. We lost the game, and we've got to go get our pride back and get our respect back.
Just real quick, we saw Chambly and Kudus both kind of get banged up. What's their status right now?
They're both fine. Chambly was a cramp. He cramped, and then Kudus was a back. But I think they're both fine.
This is a senior-laden group talking about dealing with adversity. What do you need to see from those guys, all 3 phases of the ball, moving forward to bounce back to the BYU?
I just think that we've just got to flush it and go out to practice. We don't have time. We cannot lose an hour, a minute, or anything of practice and preparation because we got beat. So I think they'll do it. They've done it in the past, and I look forward to rallying the troops in there and having a good week.
And I think who said it best, adversity is just a part of football, any level you play. What have you learned about dealing with adversity in your 4 years as a head coach that's perhaps new from your time as an assistant?
You know, I'll be honest with you. It's hard to block out um, your 15-second decisions. There's a lot of stuff goes through your mind. You know, well, if it doesn't work, where's this put us at? Where's this is? Because you know, if it doesn't work, you're going to get a lot of questions about it. And you know, if it does work, you're not probably going to get any. You know, and so I think, you know, that's what I kind of went with analytics a little bit, and then going, okay, I'm going to do what the book says, you know, unless, you know, this, that, and the other. And you know, I got beat after not going it on for 4th and 1, not taking a field goal. This, you know, I mean, if it doesn't work, you're going to get smoked. And so I said it before, and it was, I'm just going to decide what I think at the game time and what I'll do. And, but I think that's the one thing I've learned is that you make a decision, it better work. And so you have to maybe the preparation of that particular moment. You know, we've been really good on the goal line. We just haven't been very good on 4th and 1. We've lost 2 of them. And so we've got to get better just in case I feel the need to go for it, that we've got to get it. And so I've learned just do what you think you're prepared and get off the analytics just a little bit.
And we've seen how explosive Satania can be in punt return. I'm curious, like, what's the process of getting him more involved in the pass game? Is it him playing more? Is it just as simple as maybe him improving as a line blocker?
I don't think so. I think he's got to catch the ball more consistently in practice. I think that would be, and he's doing that. He's getting better at that. But you also have guys, you know, that aren't catching the ball 100% in front of him. You know what I mean? So it's just opportunity for him has to increase just a little bit more. I think we're going to do a little bit of something at wide receiver. We'll figure it out to where we might can get him on the field a little bit more.
The other thing I had, I think he played 5 corners on Saturday. I guess what did you think of those guys? And you got a receiver facing this week that almost had 200 yards and a half.
Yeah, wasn't that incredible? Yeah, he's really good. But who we started is basically how they play during the week, you know. So we decided to go with Braxton and Snacks because we just didn't feel Tuesday was not a great practice out there at home. So we switched it up a little bit. However, 15 played the best of the corners. So we're still Nudie with the turf toe. That's been our hold back a little bit. I anticipate him being healthy this week. He's going back to Louisiana. They played at LSU. So we think all 5 of them can play. I guess is the answer. There's obviously a pecking order of who can play better than the other. And the other night it was just simply we didn't practice very good, and that's where we and Braxton did, and that's where he went in. I don't know that we can play all 5 of them, to be honest with you, in a particular game.
We've talked a couple times about chipping and needing to get better there. Is there something specific you can do maybe this week in practice to just get a little bit better in that area?
Or you can work your chips, you can work your chips better. I'm not sure. You work with the tight end as well. That's the easy one because you can guarantee a chip. Back if they blitz you can't. Because he becomes in blitz protection if his responsibility counts. So I think we have to be prepared on both of those venues, and I think it's just think, like I said before, I think we've got to move the pocket some too. I think we've got to get out of this is where KJ is going to be, you know, in different situations. So I think that'll help. But we, you know, we do one-on-ones, we do NDM, pass pro, and all that kind of stuff all the time. The other thing is that, you know, we can't hold on to the ball as long as we have. So he's holding it on because they're holding the ball because we're not getting open. So that could help as well.
I think KJ is a little bit banged up going into the game. I'm assuming you feel okay about him after the game.
Yeah, he actually is a lot better today than he was last week.
Well, you had kind of a rough second half against Florida State. Probably a lot of people would, but they seem like, how would you rate their response since then in their last two games, especially what they did down the start there?
Well, they played Grambling at home and beat them bad. Grambling did some good things offensively early in that game, and maybe in the entire first half. And then the Mississippi State game, they were incredible. They were great on defense. I mean, they held Mississippi State to, I think, right at 200 yards, which is hard to do because they got a quarterback, got a great running back, and the Mississippi State's got a good football team. But they were just all over the place on defense, and then they threw the ball well. I mean, that's the one thing, you know, really that Daniels is doing. He's lights. He can beat you with his speed. He's the leading rusher they have, and Diggs is too. Diggs is a really good player. We tried to recruit him as well, but he's just throwing the ball on point, and then, you know, he's a great runner. He's playing, in my opinion, the best he's ever played right now, and so that helps him bounce back. But you know, sometimes they went and they got him for LSU. I'm sure they got embarrassed the first game, and they said we're better than this, which they are, and they went out and started playing a little bit better. I don't know what the problem was the first game, but they're playing a lot better.
You know, after a game, you normally send some video to the SEC office on officiating calls. When it's a Big 12 crew, how does that work?
Well, we did. You know, we've got it, but we didn't send it in. I don't know if we can send it in or not. You know, to be honest with you, Bob, all it is for self gratification anyway. You know, to be honest, or you're sitting in and you go, well, why? You know, what's the real rule behind this? You know, we've had some targeting that you know, it's hard to understand the targeting rule. Like a kid from Mississippi State, he got kicked out of the game, and he hit him in the chest, but he hit him with the crown of his helmet in the chest. You know, targeting, they think that it's just got to be helmet to helmet. It's just leading it up the crown of the hat. And so sometimes we'll send stuff in there. Why wasn't this called? Why was this called? But sending it in to get just verification that, yeah, I was right and you're wrong, it really doesn't do anything. You get it back on Wednesday or late Tuesday, and there's some things, but you know, you're never going to agree with what comes out of there anyway. You know, you wouldn't send it in the first place. But.
They're also flinched on a 35, by the way. When we got called from the looked like you guys you came out pretty clean on injuries. You mentioned Chambly and Kudus and KJ, you know, being fine. Come out pretty clean.
We did. Center flinches, you're going to jump. You're going to go. Yeah, I would too. But what'd you say?
You came out pretty clean. Looked like
we did. You know, I think we did. We've got the nagging what's going to happen, you know, as ball gets played, but we did. You know, I told the kids we was going to go Spiders, you know, early in camp. So I was going to go, this is a great forward, Spiders, you know, but it's a great time to go because we are pretty healthy. We got to get some, you know, get going, get some life into us. The guys, we played hard. We just didn't play smart. You know, we got beat because of it. But our kids, it's not an effort. It's not that I like this team. I like them a lot. They just got to play a little bit smarter.
I mean, I know obviously laser focus, move on to the next game, but how difficult is that actually to do?
Hard. It's hard. I mean, it's 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 not a job. It's my life. It's what you do. It's what everybody knows you as a regular person. You know, the kids same way. It's hard because the addition of social media has, and the addition of not opinions so much, but negative. Uh, like used to be like, you got to do better or something. It's not you suck, you that, you this. You know what I mean? It's now it's got the comments have nothing to do really with what happened in the game. It's just you suck. And it's not just me. It's all the kids and all that. So I think it's a time when it's harder to recover from losses if you're a social media person, you know. So, and your best friends will say, man, you guys are going to get them this week. They say, no, oh, by the way, stay off social media. You know what I mean? And so you're going, I have been. So, then you're going, what's happening? The kids are the same way. So I think it's hard. I mean, it is because you want to please the people that are employing you, the team, your wife, the state, the media, and you can't always do that. And that's the hard part about our job. And I would imagine hard part about being a student athlete. It'd be hard because we all have feelings. We all have, you know what I mean. And when you let people down, you're already beating yourself up on it, and then somebody starts beating the hell out of you with it, and then you know what I mean. I think it's a little bit harder to recover, but they're going to recover as I do. And when I get to that meeting today, it's going to be all about LSU after we get the corrections that we need to do.
You kind of answered my next question about, I know you took one game at a time. Is there any talk about this is about to embark on for this 4-game road stretch?
It hadn't been, I just think this is as good a team as we're going to play, and I know A&M's good. I know Ole Miss good. They're good. Alabama's good. But I think this will define a little bit where we're at, how we go Saturday night. We just got to really prepare hard for it. We've got a good football team. They do too. But if we get prepared, it'll be a hell of a game.
We've talked a lot about how players have recovered. How is kind of the coaching staff taking it, and how's the morale within the room?
They're good. Again, they kind of go how I go. And if I go in there and going, man, talking about anything else other than how can we get better and how can we improve and LSU, then really, in all honesty, we're wasting time. Because what happens is nobody really cares unless they love you. Nobody really cares what your feelings are. They don't care unless they like you or them. So if you don't know somebody, why should you be concerned about their feelings? They're not going to be in your life and they're not in your life. So why should you care? So, and I know I'll get beat up for saying that too, but that's how I feel. But I think it's all going to be okay. And I think the staff and the kids go off. I'm the leader. How am I going to approach it? And we still got 9 games left. And when we do, and we're undefeated in the SEC. We are. So let's see what happens.
Arkansas fans might think Harold Perkins is the best defensive player in the country.
They were at the game last year. They would think that.
So if you could maybe talk about why he's so special and the scouting report on there, dude.
It's just unbelievable fast. Fast. I went back and watched that last year's game this morning, actually. And he ran down the league Hornsby, several times. So I know he's fast. They're playing him a little bit different. They got a different defense. They got a different coach house. They got a different coordinator. But he hadn't rushed as much as he had in the past, But really, his plays against us, he was a spy. He was a spy, and when Malik broke, he went and ran him down. And I don't know if that's what they're going to do with JJ or not. I would assume not. I think they're going to play their defense. I think they like their defense. I mean, Wingo is incredible. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's as good a D lineman as I've seen. But with Perkins, he can do so many things. He covered I think it was a wide receiver. They may have split the running back up. He covered him 40 yards down the field. They ran a go route, and the guy's right on. He's probably as fast as anybody they have on the team. He's very instinctive. But he is fast. He'll hit you. I mean, he's just a really good player. Really good.
When you say you might want to move the pocket more with KJ, is that something that you guys have already, or just something you got to click around?
Well, it's just like when I was here before with Dan. He likes all these combinations, and nobody. If you move the pocket, what you do for the most part is you cut half the opportunity. You cut half the field out. You're throwing the two receivers and stuff for it. You can flood it and get three out there, as well. BYU actually ran a lot of floods, what I call flood routes. But if you can't hold up let's say you can't hold up on 3rd and 8, they've got some really good players over there. You have to have something in that offense that's going to make them slow down. And obviously we have a screen game. It hadn't been very good. If we catch the ball the other night, I think we're going to make a lot of yards on the screen. So you have screens, you have draws, and you have opportunities to move it. All those we have I'm not telling you that we have them in our offense to move the pocket to get 10 yards. And those are things we got to look at.
Last thing I had was you talked about Jaden Daniels a little bit, but just maybe offensive challenge.
Well, first of all, Brad Davis is over there, so the offensive line is doing good. They had them 2 freshman tackles that are now sophomores, and I think Will Campbell's playing extremely well. It must have been a hell of an honor. He got voted a captain over there. Their tight end who didn't play last week, Taylor, 86, is really, really good. But he had a high ankle, so he didn't play. Diggs, Williams, running back. They're doing basically the same thing that they did last year, except their receivers are, to me, they're just a difference in their offense with its Neighbors and Thomas and Lacey. Obviously, Neighbors had the huge game last week, but I think they're incredibly talented at wide receiver, and I think Daniels might be as improved of a thrower. And I know he was a good thrower last year, but he's putting it on them, and they're winning 50-50 balls. But they got a lot of speed. They're not running it quite as much as they had, I don't think, as they had last year. Maybe statistics will say they are. But for me, right now they've been an RPO pass first team, and it's had great success. They were just running goals the other day and just running by the guy and just catching it.
Last week you said before night games at home and early games on the road, you're getting one or not this Saturday, but the next Saturday you'll get one in Arlington. Talk about the advantages of having an early game on the road. I mean, I guess.
Well, I just like it. If you're going into hostile territory, it's hard to have as loud a crowd at 11 a.m. as it is, in the evening when they, get all ready to go during the day. There's something about a night crowd. I don't know. There's just something about it. And a lot of times you're worried about your team waking up ready to go, but we practice so much in the morning that, I think that might be an advantage for us to play early as well. So that's kind of really why I like that. And just the opposite, if you're going like into LSU, they got all day to get hyped up and all this kind of stuff. And so that's just the opposite.
Real quick, what are your thoughts on the defensive line against BYU? They got pressure and they just couldn't get home sometimes. And Landon spoke to us about some assignments got missed. Just what did you see from that unit?
Yeah, we didn't twist around. We had a little what I call a frog twist, 2 going this way, 1 coming back. We didn't twist around. We did not. That was one of our MAs. Quarterback came out of the pocket and made a first down on that critical situation. Going into the game, we felt like they had two really good tackles, which they did. We thought we could maybe pick on their interior guys, and it just didn't quite work that out. I think they did a nice job of moving him a little bit as well, and did a lot of quick throws with him and things of that nature. So I think their game plan was really good about getting it off and really fast and what they had shown so fast.